Hello, everyone. Welcome to Molehill Mountain, episode 239. I'm Andrew Eisen. You don't really need to know that, but now you do. So, this week, Lindy, hello. This week, Monster Hunter Rise had its third title update. Well, I guess it would be the second title update, but it's now version 3, so, you know, it's just how it works. So, Monster Hunter Rise version 3 is now out. And I must say, I was a little disappointed with it. So, several new monsters. How many monsters is that? It depends on how you count. Um, Spoilers for the final boss, but the final boss isn't new, so... Eh. Um, you have a new ending, which you just fight Ibushi and Narwa again. It's a little different, but you're just fighting Ibushi and Narwa again. Narwa does eat Ibushi or absorb his power and become Super Narwa, or the All-Mother Narwa. But she's still the same monster. She just now has wind powers in addition to her electricity powers, or lightning powers. It's a little different. It's cool. But it's not like you get a big brand new boss, like, Xeno'jiiva or Sharish Valda or anything like that. But it is nice to have a conclusion to the game. So, you get a new ending where you fight the same boss monsters again in a slightly different way. There's Valstrax, who is a returning monster who we haven't seen since, I think, Generations. So that's nice. I've never fought Valstrax before. And there's Apex Zinogre, which is just Zinogre, who's already in the game. And as far as I know, that's it. So you have one returning monster, which is awesome to see. One Apex version of a monster that's already in the game, which... fine. I mean, how different are the Apex monsters from their base form? Not much. They're not as squishy and they hit harder. They have they're a little faster. They're if like Zinogre, lightning beam, pew, pew, pew. Apex Zinogre, lightning beams. It's it's a. I wouldn't go so far as to call it a new monster. Nice to have. So, several new monsters. The returning Valstrax, Apex version of a monster that's already in the game, and Narwa and Ibushi fused. At best, you're looking at 3, and me personally, I don't consider 3 several. I consider that a few. So, but more disappointing is when you fire up Title Update 3, it's immediately go kill Narwa and Ibushi. Oh, alright. One of the things in the Capcom's presentation this week was new arena, new boss arena. I'm like, oh, we fight Narwa and Ibushi in a new place. I'll get there. So you go fight Narwa and Ibushi. So here's what happened the first time. Ibushi, which is a blue flying serpent, you fought at the end of a rampage, and then he floated off. The Narwa, you fought in a brand new arena, the Coral Palace. Really gorgeous place. It's this bigger arena surrounded by, one side is a sheer cliff face. Atop the cliff face are these really ornate pagodas and coral plants, really neat looking. On the other side is this stormy sea. It's really awesome, very atmospheric, very cool. When you beat Narwa, who is a giant yellow serpent, as opposed to Ibushi, who's a giant blue flying serpent. They're both flying serpents, they're just different colors. Narwa's bigger, and she uses lightning instead of wind, which is what Ibushi uses, but they're kind of the same monster. They're not exactly the same, their fights are very distinct, but they're kind of the same monster. Narratively makes sense, because the plot is revolves around them banging. Floating serpent sex. Yeah. But they're kind of the same monster. Anyway, you beat Narwa. She falls on her ass. And then the ground opens up and she falls in a hole. And everyone goes, oh, heck. And then they say, we looked in the hole and she wasn't there. We don't know where Ibushi and Narwa are now. Bum, bum, bum. To be resolved in Title Update 3, which came out this week. So what is the resolution? Where did they go? Where can we find Narwa and Ibushi? At the Coral Palace. Oh. Oh. Same place? Yeah. Same place. Cool place. I like it. It's a cool arena, but same place. I guess the new arena is somewhere else. Again, I'm getting there. So it opens with a cutscene with Narwa and Ibushi flirting and, spiraling around each other. And so you go over into the arena, and Narwa is nowhere to be seen. Neither is the hole that she made, so I guess she patched it up before she left. That was nice of her. So you fight Ibushi by himself. Almost exactly the same fight as at the end of the Rampage. So when you beat Ibushi, he's the blue one. He falls on the ground, and the hole opens up again and he falls in. So you jump in after him. There's Narwa. How did she get down there? I just saw her in the cutscene a couple of minutes ago. So she patched up the ground. She's flying around with Ibushi. Cutscene ends. And in the couple of seconds it takes me to grab stuff out of the item box and wirebug over to the arena, she busted through the floor, went in the hole, and patched it up again. Sure. Fantasy video game. I'll buy it, sure. So this underground cavern, which the hole leads to, this, unless there's another map somewhere in the game that I haven't seen yet, is the new boss arena that Capcom was touting in its Capcom Direct. It's underwhelming. The Coral Palace is a really cool place. As I mentioned, the cliffs and the pagodas and the coral and the stormy seas. Oh, cool. So cool. This is just a big cave. Big cave. Just a big empty cave. It's a lovely shade of dark pink. But it's a big, empty, featureless, bland-ass cave. There's a lot of endemic life crawling around, which is cool, so you can throw mud beetles at her. So, alright, now we're going to fight Ibushi and Narwa at the same time. Well, no, not really. Narwa, which I didn't realize this until I watched it again, Narwa eats Ibushi. It's not really clear that's what happens. In a couple of weeks, you'll see me do the fight, and I don't recognize what's going on at all. I thought they were just kind of circling each other, and I think I was shooting at him with a mounted cannon or something like that. And then I went, oh, Ibushi just dropped dead. I think Narwa eats him and steals his power, and then you fight Narwa, who is now Super Saiyan Narwa, or All-Mother Narwa. And she has the powers of Narwa, which makes sense because she's still Narwa, and Ibushi. So she can throw lightning bolts at you, and I'm not going to phrase it like that, and wind at you. It's a cool fight. She turns blue, and then she turns kind of this purplish white color, and her eyes glow red. It's pretty badass. She has a lot of new attacks. Like, she yanks big, like, 5 Dragonators out of the ground and flings them around the room, or swirls them around the room, and you have to dodge them, and I did not do very well at that. Dodging, anyway. It's not a bad boss fight. It's fine. It's just more of the same plus plus, if you will. Maybe I expect too much. Maybe it's because Capcom said several new monsters. And when Capcom said several new monsters, I expected several new monsters. Not one. No, I don't count Apex versions of monsters that are already in the game as new monsters. Same monster. Subspecies? Like, how different is, say, going back to World, how different is, would I consider Coral Pookie Pookie a distinct monster from Pookie Pookie? Or Nightshade Paolumu, a distinct monster from Paolumu? You know, kind of, a little. Coral, I'd say, yeah. Nightshade, nah, it's just a Paolumu with the sleep gas. Coral's pretty damn different, though, so I like Coral Pookie Pookie. So is this the only disappointing thing? No, no. I'm very disappointed because I didn't get to fight Valstrax. Why didn't I get to fight Valstrax? Jared says one didn't shoot water out of his ass. That's right. Coral Pookie Pookie shoots water out of his bum. It's pretty fun. It actually shoots water out of both ends. Pookie Pookie's great. I have not fought Valstrax yet because you have to be Hunter rank 100. I am not Hunter rank 100. After I defeated Narwa and Ibushi and beat the game for realsies this time, I was Hunter rank 69. Nice. So I've got 31 levels to go before I get to fight Valstrax. How do you increase your Hunter rank? You just keep hunting. You tend to go up about 1 Hunter rank every fight, which means I'd have to do about 30 fights, which take about, if you include prep and eating and selecting the quest, you're looking at, 15 minutes per, so 4 an hour. So you're looking at 7 to maybe 10 hours of just grinding the game so I can play a new monster. I don't want to. I don't want to. I don't like the Hunter rank system because it's not, what it sounds like is an RPG level mechanic, like, oh, you should be like level 35 to fight this monster because at level 35 you learn these spells, your stats are high enough. No, Hunter rank doesn't mean anything. It's an indication of how much hunting you've done. Your character, if you did not know, in Monster Hunter does not level up. Your stats do not improve. You just get better equipment. I've got the best equipment. I'm good. There's no better equipment to get. I've got the end game equipment. So what the game is saying is, Andrew, before we grant you the privilege to fight a new monster in the game you already paid for, you're going to have to play it for another 7, 8, 9 hours. Just do the same thing over and over and over for several hours until we decide to, oh, that's long enough and you can fight this new monster. I don't want to. Now, I will be playing the weekly event quests. And they'll have the collaborations that are coming at the end of June, and the end of July, and the end of August. I'll be playing those too. So eventually, I'll probably hunter rank up to 100 and get to fight Valstrax. But I'm really genuinely not interested in just. I love Monster Hunter, I really, really do. But I need a goal. I need something to work towards. And I suppose, and you could rightfully say, well, the goal is hunter rank 100 so you can fight Valstrax. And that's true, but that doesn't work for me, because that's like, just keep playing until we've arbitrarily decided that you've played enough to earn the right. I'm really not going to get any better at this game. Just playing it for another 7 or 8 hours is not going to improve my skill. I'm about as skillful as I'm going to get at this game, which is not very. It's also not a very hard game as far as Monster Hunters goes. If you've played Monster Hunters before, this is a pretty easy Monster Hunter game. So I did play this week's event quest, which was Hunta Somnicanth. Just a regular old Somnicanth. Anything special about her? Nope. Anything to make the quest interesting? Nope. You do get a blow kiss gesture for completing the quest, which is cool. So now you can blow kisses at the monsters, and that's wonderful. I love that. But so far, these event quests have been unimaginative and boring. It's just fight random monster. I mean, at least this one is marginally, tangentially, if you cock your head and squint, thematically relevant. I mean, because Somnicanth is based on a mythical siren who, come over and have lunch with me, and then I'll eat your face. Sirens. So, blow kisses. You see where they're going? I mean, it's probably the most thematically appropriate monster they could have used. But again, I am utterly stunned by the absolute lack of imagination and creativity in the event quests. The rewards have been fine, but the events have been dull. It's like Capcom's not even trying. And that makes me sad. Jared says that's a fair point, Jared. Jared says, well, learn a new weapon. Yeah, that's actually a great idea. Learn it, since I'm going to have to play 7 or 8 or 9 hours or something until I can fight Valstrax. Could use that time to learn a new weapon. That's, yeah. Yep. Oh, hey, remember how, because I'm sure you guys hang off of every word I say. A couple of weeks ago, I talked about Naru and Ibushi's armor sets and how they're utterly useless. Well, I say they're utterly useless because they have a bunch of skills on them, but all the skills are rank 1, and there are no slots on the armor pieces for decorations. So you've got a lot of level 1 skills, which is kind of useless. So, does All Mother Narwa have a brand new armor set? No, she doesn't. Neither do any of the Apexes, and that's That's disappointing, especially since the Apexes are clearly based on the Deviants from previous games, and they did have their own armor sets. Huh. Huh. But what do you get for clobbering Narwabushi, which is their ship name? Or Narbushi? I guess it'd be Narbushi. There you go. Narbushi. That's their ship name. Unless you wanted to turn around and go Iwa, but... So what do you get for beating it? Well, if, and I'm speculating here because the game does not do a very good job of spelling this out, but I think what it's doing is when you beat Narbushi, if you've already crafted their armor sets, you can upgrade the individual pieces one more time to add more skills. What I'm guessing that does is, so you have an armor piece that has 2 level 1 skills on it and no slots, so you can't do anything. If you level it up once more, it adds rank 2 to those skills. And if you level it up again, you can rank 3 them. So now you have armor sets with lots of... so potentially, if this is indeed what's happening, again, the game does not make this very clear, you now have armor sets that have a bunch of level 3 skills, which is not completely useless. Still a shame that there's no slots, but they do have a bunch of skills on them, so, you know, it's a unique approach. I'm still sad that there's just not a lot of new armors. Oh well. So, Twitch emailed me this week. MW not being clear Pikachu face? I'm gonna have to reword that one, Matthew. I'm not clear what you're saying. So Twitch sent me an email this week. Just me, because, you know, we're tight. Twitch sent out, I'm sure, a mass email this week saying, hey, a bunch of music companies are slamming channels with DMCA takedown requests, so here are some tips to protect your channel. Delete everything that has music in it, essentially. Monster Hunter didn't know why I put W. Okay, so Monster Hunter being clear Pikachu. I still don't know what that means, Matthew. I don't know what being clear Pikachu face means. Here's what I want to say about Twitch and DMCA takedowns for music. I'm a musician. I can't write music to save my backside, but I can arrange music. Is not being... Okay, what does Pikachu face mean? It's the Pikachu face that I'm just not understanding. That surprise Pikachu face is a meme for obvious... Oh! Oh, so you, like, typed out an emoticon? Or... okay. So you're saying Monster Hunter is not being clear, and whatever expression Pikachu makes. Okay. But yes, your point that Monster Hunter being clear is not new, that is indeed not new. As much as the games have improved since World as far as a ease of use or user-friendly point of view, still has a long way to go. Because half the time it'll say, you just earned the Verflardelschnitt. And I'm like, great! What the hell is that? Is it a piece of armor? Is it a sticker? Is it a gesture? Is it a weapon? Which of the 14 weapons is it? One of the things they did last week, I think, was when you got the sunglasses armor piece. For some reason, the sunglasses armor piece, they added a new special menu for that one armor piece. Took me a while to find. Don't know why they did that. Odd choice. But yeah, there are a lot of things in Monster Hunter are not explained. You know, one simple tweak I'd love them to make, whenever you break a monster part, you get a little notification on the right side of the screen that says, Diablos, part broken. Great, which part? Sometimes it's not clear. Now, if it's a Diablos horn, it's usually pretty clear. Or if it's the tail that just flopped off, that's pretty clear. But when you break, like, their back or their forearms, or you just, like, crack the tail but don't sever it, which, you know, some of the monsters can do, like Mizutsune. I would just like it to say, you know, Diablos, horn broken. Diablos, back broken. Either that or make the various breaks a lot more visually clear, because there's a lot of crap going on, and most of the time when I see the break notification come up, I don't know what broke. Anyway, back to Twitch. Here are my thoughts on music and video games and streaming. If I am paid money to compose a song for a video game, and I compose a song for a video game, and I'm paid money, I don't feel I'm entitled to more money when you buy the game and listen to the song. Because I've already been paid for the song that I wrote to be included in the game that you paid for, you see. So, if you're playing Resident Evil 3, I don't know why I picked that one. Probably because I just bought it for 20 bucks and it's on my mind. So if you are playing Resident Evil 3, and you're thinking, I'm going to stream this on Twitch, and you're playing through Resident Evil 3, and I'm watching you, because I like watching you stream, and you come to the part of the game, I'm like, hey, that song? I wrote that song! That song in the game that you paid for and are playing on Twitch right now, that song, I wrote that song! I got paid to write that song! Give me more money! I don't agree with that. I don't agree with that. Should the fine folks who did a wonderful job modeling Carlos, should they be paid extra every time Carlos is in the game? Look, Carlos, there's Carlos. I got paid to rig that model, so give me more money. Copyright strike that channel. Whoop, you're in the Raccoon Police Department. I was the the artist for that stage. I built that stage with my own two hands. Give me more money. No, I disagree with that. As wonderful as these people all are, and they are probably underpaid, a lot of them, they already got paid. They were already paid for that. They should not be paid again, because they didn't do any new work. You want to keep getting paid, negotiate in your contract a percentage of sales. But I already paid for the game. I shouldn't have to pay to experience the content in the game that I already paid for. Granted, this only applies when I'm streaming it online, but yeah, I just don't agree with this whole issue of, nope, you can't You can't stream a game that you paid for if it's got music in it that I was already paid to write. I don't agree with that. You were already paid. You were already, at least you should have been already paid. And if you weren't, it's not my fault. I feel for you. Genuinely do. It's not my fault. Don't take it out on little old me. My feelings are fragile, you see. Hi, David Gonzalez. So, Twitch recommends protecting your channel by muting music. Don't listen to music. Mute all music. Unpublish all of your VODs. So there's that. So let's talk about Disney. So Disney released, hey, do you subscribe to Disney Plus? Do you give Disney $7.99 a month, whatever it is, for the privilege of watching movies on its streaming service? So do I. Well, you're in luck, because if you already pay Disney $7.99 a month for the privilege of watching the crap on their streaming service, you now have the ability to give Disney even more money to watch one of the films on their streaming service that you already pay Disney to watch the films on their streaming service. So on top of the $7.99 a month, you can give Disney another $30 to watch the new Cruella movie. That's something you could do. You could do that. That's something I could do. I could do that. I'm not going to do that. I guess it doesn't mean that much coming from someone who wasn't that terribly interested in a Cruella movie. I mean, I kind of want to watch it just for the outfits, because the outfits look amazing, but other than that, I mean... See the secret origin of Cruella de Vil. Why is she such a meanie pants who wants to kill puppies? I don't know. I don't care. I mean, if there's an interesting story behind it, sure, but, you know, I was gonna lie and make a joke out of this, but, I already know that I'm right. A while back, I was musing this about Cruella de Vil, the origin story. I'm like, what are they gonna do? Dalmatians killed my parents. I hate them so much. Apparently, yeah. Apparently, that's a thing in this movie. Dalmatians kill her parents. I don't know if that's true. I just heard on the internet that it was, and I was like, oh my god, seriously? You're kidding me. You have got to be shitting me. That's seriously something in the movie? Dalmatians killed Cruella de Vil's parents, and that's why she hates Dalmatians? She just wanted a coat. She's just cold and heartless and cruel. And Dalmatian... Now she's just stupid. Now, granted, I've not seen the movie. Maybe it really works in the context of the film. But Lindy says, because she lives for fur and she worships them, but Disney seemed to forget that and gave her a sap backstory. Yeah, I mean, she's just horrible. She's just a monster. You know? She just wants a fur coat, and she will kill puppies to get it, because they mean nothing to her. But why? Because Dalmatians killed her mom. I both hope that's not true and hope it is true. I'm probably never going to watch the movie, but... Anyway, my point in bringing this up, other than I think the whole Premier Access thing is a little silly... correct me if I'm wrong in the chat, but you have to subscribe to Disney Plus in order to premierly access the Premier Access movies, right? Like, if I don't subscribe to Disney Plus, I can't just throw $30 at Disney and say, let me watch Cruella, right? I have to subscribe to their service on top of paying $30. I think that's how it works. I'm not positive, but I think that's how that works, and that seems kind of crap to me. So I saw an article, and I forgot to write down where it was. It said, Disney boasts first gay character. I think it said first openly gay character in movie. From what I've read, the character in question is not gay, or at the very least, not openly gay. His sexuality is not mentioned or determined, or like he doesn't have a boyfriend or a husband. He doesn't talk about dating. But the actor says, well, in my mind, he's gay. Well, that's nice. Is he a lead? No, supporting character. Now, I found this I found this kind of interesting because I was like, really, Disney's first gay character? Because I've seen these headlines before, like. Wasn't LeFou in Beauty and the Beast Disney's first gay character? How about the random dude with no name in Avengers Endgame? He's on screen for 1 minute. How about the two women in the background of Rise of Skywalker who smooch for 2 seconds? Probably less than that. How about that one Cyclops woman, police officer in Onward? Said the same thing about her. There have been a lot of Disney's first gay character. I mean, this is like the 5th or 6th one, isn't it? You can't have that many firsts, Disney. I don't know if it's Disney touting this or if it's just outlets being wrong. But I didn't read the article. I just saw the headline. I was like, really? They're first? Again? Did the last several just not count? Well, they were kind of lame, so maybe they don't count. It's like, gay people exist in Star Wars! Where? Way over there! Oh, you're doing so good, Disney. Much diversity, such representation. Wow. I never saw Beauty and the Beast, so I have no idea how LeFou is portrayed in that movie. I would guess that it's one offhanded remark that's open to interpretation, at best. The guy in Avengers Endgame was definitely gay. Which superhero was he? No, he doesn't even have a name, just some random dude. Look, there's at least one gay dude in the entire Marvel universe. Woo! When someone reminded me that there was a gay character in Onward, I honestly could not remember who the hell it was. I was like, who? You know, that one cop. I'm like, the centaur guy? He's like dating the mom. Is he bi? They're like, no, the other cop. What other cop? I'm like, you know the scene where they stop and the Cyclops, and I'm like, oh yeah, she does mention her girlfriend's kid is a pain in the ass. Okay, yeah, that character's on screen for less than a minute and has probably 2 lines in the entire movie. Yeah. So in the fantasy world of Onward, there's at least one gay person. Good job, Disney. Whee! First gay character. Let's see. I think the Eternals will also have Disney's first gay character. Let's see. I'm trying to think of some of the upcoming Disney projects. Every time there's a gay character in Disney movie, first time. Which actually should be really embarrassing in 2021. 2021, first gay character, really? 2021, it's your first gay character? You should be embarrassed by that, Disney. What's my take on the St. Louis Popeyes don't take white people's orders? I have no idea what you're talking about. Gaston acts gay in the cartoon. And the theatrical one, from 91, 2, somewhere in there? He's a complete skirt chaser. So, I don't know, whatever you're thinking of. What's my take on the new Moon Knight show coming out? Well, I'll watch it. Because I'm a superhero dork. So, yeah, but, I mean, Oscar Isaac was cast as Moon Knight. And, I mean, they haven't started production, so we haven't seen a trailer, production artwork, or anything yet. So, I'm sure it'll be, at the very least, pretty good. As most Marvel things are. They tend to range from, pretty good, to really good. Yeah, I mean, there's only been a couple Marvel projects that well, I mean, okay, there's been a couple outright bad ones. Like some of the Netflix ones were bad. Like Iron Fist. God, that's terrible. Not without its moments, but overall pretty bad. I think it's got like 25 movies, something like that, and I'd only consider maybe 3 of them bad, and even then, I'd just say not great rather than outright bad. So, eh. Bu- 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 bu. Good. Don't waste your time. Watch the cartoon instead. Way better than live action. Uh, Not sure which one that's referring to, but oh, Iron Fist. Yeah, Iron Fist is. Yeah. What was funny is, and all due respect to Larry, whoever the actor is who plays Iron Fist, nothing against that actor. He did the best he could in the time, from the martial arts perspective. He did admirable with the amount of time that he had to learn the choreography and figure stuff out. So props to him. And he portrayed the character exactly as I'm sure he was directed to and how the character was written. So I don't have a problem with that actor. I have a problem with that character. The as it's written and portrayed in the Netflix shows. Because yeah, Danny Rand is just awful. He's like the worst. Uh, oh, he sucks. And also, if the idea that your character is like one of the world's best martial artists, you should probably hire a martial artist. Again, all due respect to the actor, he did as good as he could have possibly done, I think. But in like episode 5 or something of Iron Fist, he fights, I think it's Louis Tan, and I think it's in the new Mortal Kombat movie, which I haven't seen because I don't have HBO Max. But he's a drunken fist fighter, and Danny Rand goes up against him. And I'm like, dude, that guy should have been hire him for Iron Fist. And then I read they actually auditioned him for Iron Fist, and that's why he got this smaller part. But they went with the other guy for some reason. I'm like, why wouldn't you? I mean, this guy's. Now, granted, it still would have been a terrible character. Louis Tan, I don't believe, could have elevated that crappy character to anything worth watching, but at least the martial arts would have been better. So, also, Iron Fist wears a mask. Go ahead and put Iron Fist in a mask. That way you can use more stunt doubles. Just saying. Works for Daredevil. I don't mind the fact that I don't mind a different take on the character. A lot of the characters are fairly different from how they are in the comics. I don't have a problem with that in and of itself. This is just a bad, absolutely unlikable character that no one in the show should want anything to do with because he's just crap. It's like, what's her name? Colleen. I have no idea why the hell she hangs out with this guy because he sucks. It's like, oh, no, Colleen, no, 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 Colleen, no. Anybody else would be fine. Just please. Oh, I know the script says so, but just no. He's terrible. Oh. So I look forward to many more first gay characters in upcoming Disney projects. So, Ubisoft had revealed Far Cry 6 this week. Well, it was revealed a year ago, but they did a more in-depth look. Squad says Iron Fist is the best martial artist in the Marvel Universe. At least, yeah, I think I mentioned that. At least one of. So you'd probably want to hire someone who either knows martial arts or can at least convincingly do it. Like, I don't know if, oh God, who's playing Shang-Chi? I don't remember his name. I don't know if he knows martial arts or not, but trailer looked good. So here's that's the hand gesture I wanted. Here's hoping. which one is it? This one, yay. So Ubisoft, Far Cry 6. Yeah, looks cute. I like the little I don't know, is it a dachshund or something with the little cart behind it? That's adorable. I like the alligator that you can send at people. That's cool. You got a backpack that shoots missiles. You got a gun that shoots CDs at people that plays the Macarena. It looks fun. And then I remembered it's Ubisoft, and I was like, oh God. So I went to their site and I said, let's see, is there 15 different special editions and all kinds of DLC? Other than a pre-order bonus that gives your little wiener dog an extra outfit and a special CD launcher weapon, that's it. So far. And I remembered it. So for those that didn't watch, Far Cry 6, here's the premise. You got an island in the Caribbean somewhere. There is a fascist authoritarian dictator who rules with an iron fist and is just an absolute scumsicle. Well, because he's an absolute scumsicle, there are people who are fighting the power. And they are the revolution or the resistance or the guerrilla fighters or whatever who are going to probably kill him and overthrow the government. Cool. Fair premise for a video game. And I thought to myself, you know what? I bet Ubisoft is saying, no, there's no politics here. Nothing political about revolutionaries overthrowing a fascist government. No politics. Why would you even think there was anything even remotely political or that this game offers any semblance of a political perspective? No! Politics. No, come on. It's just a bunch of revolutionaries fighting to topple a fascist government. It's nothing political about that. So here's what Ubisoft had to say. Now, granted, this article from thegamer.com, who I've never heard of, so hopefully these quotes are not made up, does that thing that I really don't like, where instead of actually quoting, they just kind of summarize what the person said. So I don't know what they actually said, but the title of the article is Ubisoft spoke to actual guerrilla fighters, but doesn't want to make a political statement with Far Cry 6. Yeah, well, I can believe that because Ubisoft has gone on specific record, full quotes and all, saying dumb shit like that regarding um, other Far Cry games, both the Division games, several Tom Clancy games. Yeah, nothing political about the political thrillers that Tom Clancy wrote. Ah, ah. So, it says Ubisoft wants to avoid making a political statement with the upcoming open world shooter. Too late, Ubisoft. Whether you will admit to this or not, you already did, and there's nothing wrong with that. You coward. So, let's see if I can find a quote here. It says the original inspiration was guerrilla warfare. And what is that guerrilla fantasy, which is obviously tied to revolution? When you talk about guerrillas, you think of the guerrillas in the 50s and the 60s. We actually went down there to speak to actual guerrilla fighters who fought back then, and we just really fell in love with their stories. And this is from the narrative director, Navid Kavari. And apologies if I mispronounced that. Continues, we also fell in love with the culture and people we met. When we came out of that, it wasn't that we felt we had to do Cuba. We realized it's a complicated island and our game doesn't want to make a political statement about what's happening in Cuba specifically. Now that alone, that's perfectly fair. Beyond that, we're drawing inspiration from guerrilla movements around the world and throughout history. For us, it felt like doing the island of Yara, which is the fictional island in the game, would help us tell that story while being very open with our politics and inspiration. So you're being... Oh, wait, what? See, this is why I hate it when interviews don't just give me all the quotes, because there's a contradiction here where he says, we don't want to make a political statement about Cuba specifically. That makes sense. We're not talking specifically about Cuba. We're inspired by this kind of stuff for our game. Okay, fine, fair enough. But the lead for the article is they don't want to make a political statement with Far Cry 6. It says it right here. It wants to avoid making a political statement with the upcoming open world shooter. Okay, but in this quote, it says, we'll tell a story, we'll be very open with our politics and inspiration. Goes on, a revolution is complex, and the people you're going to engage with are also complex. I use this line of philosophy, which is that every character has their own heartbeat, and you just have to find it. We have this melting pot of motivational complexity where we tried to translate that into gameplay and the story, so tonally, it sort of already existed, but for us, thematically, unifying that into guerrilla fantasy felt pretty natural. Great. So, I honestly, going off of what Ubisoft has said in the past, I would not be surprised if it actually did say something like, there's nothing political about Far Cry 6. But the actual quote is, we don't want to make a political statement about Cuba specifically. Which, again, perfectly fair. And then it goes on to say that we're being very open with our politics. So I don't know about the framing of this article. Which is why, once again, writers, listen to me. When you're interviewing people, just provide the quotes. Stop doing that damn thing where you summarize part of it, where you reword part of it, because then you end up with stuff like this, and I have no idea what they actually said. This doesn't make them or you look very good, so don't do that. Or at least if you have to trim up the interview, be very careful about it. You know, there's essentially unlimited space on the internet. You could do the thing where you just write the readable 8 to 10 paragraph front page article and just link to a transcription of the interview. You could do that. That's something you could do. You could do that. Do that. You have my approval. Just tell your editor, Andrew said it was okay. The not Cuba, says Matthew. That's right, it's not Cuba. Just like Omni-Man in Invincible is not Superman. And the Guardians of the Globe are not Justice League, with not Wonder Woman and not Flash and not Martian Manhunter. um, no, it's perfectly fine to take your inspiration from real world events. I think it's fine to make a fictional place, even though it is clearly an analog of an existing place. But I do hope that Ubisoft pulls its head out of its ass, and I say that because it actually has done this no politics thing in the past, and stops being disingenuous and cowardly about the political nature of its games and the political perspective that its games offer. For example, what is the political perspective of Far Cry 6? Well, from what we know, you play the resistance fighters. That's a perspective, and that's okay. So when you have the opportunity, don't lie about it. I mean, you can just not talk about it. That's also something you could do. Probably something I'd recommend. You know, there's always the good old standby boilerplate response. We will let our game speak for itself. That sounds so much better than our Tom Clancy game don't have no politics in it. You know, the one about overthrowing the government. No politics in that one. Legion, something Legion. Watch Dogs Legion. There's another one that Ubisoft has gone record and quoted. Because there's no politics about this game where a fascist totalitarian government is being overthrown by the player characters who have to gather up resistance fighters to take out the government. Yeah, no politics there. So you just look like a doo-doo head when you do that. Nobody wants to look like a doo-doo head. But, and I mentioned this on Twitter, but, big but, gigantic plump derriere coming at you. I'll make you a deal, Ubisoft. You can disingenuously and cowardly claim that your political games have no politics, no political perspectives in it, from now till the end of time, and I will not say one word about it. Provided you purge your company of those that have, for over a decade, been harboring and defending bullies, abusers, and sexual predators. Rid your company of those scumsickles, and you can bullshit about a lack of politics all day, and I won't say a thing about it. In public. Oh, I'll say it privately. But, you know, I won't give you any more poop on my podcasts or on Twitter. All you have to do is the right thing. Just get rid of, stop protecting and harboring abusers and sexual predators. Instead of doing that, fucking fire them. Do that, and I'll stop complaining about the politics thing. Hey. Remember a year ago when Ubisoft lied? I mean, that's not very specific. Ubisoft lies all the time. Remember last year when Ubisoft specifically lied about not being able to address the whole, for over a decade, we've been protecting abusers and sexual predators in our company? They lied about not being able to address that because they got found out, you see. You see, they don't really care that they hurt their employees. until it looks bad on them. They didn't care enough to do anything about it, apparently. But they lied and they said, you know, we have this Ubisoft Forward, Ubisoft Direct presentation, and gosh darn it, we really wanted to put some statement in there, but we couldn't. We just didn't have any time because unlike every other of these presentations, we've had this locked for weeks. It's not the case as it is always the case where things are changing always up until the last minute. You know, the presentation is fluid up until the 11th hour. No, no, no. We couldn't add anything, not a text thing, not a pre-recorded person bit, couldn't just live stream something reading off of a cue card or a teleprompter and then go into the thing. No, it was totally impossible to do that. We couldn't do that. We didn't have time on the event that we controlled the timing of. Remember when they lied about that? And then they had another Ubisoft Forward like a couple months later, the following fall, and they didn't mention it again. And then they had another one earlier this year, and they didn't mention it again. I'm willing to bet that they have a new one next month, I think. I'm willing to bet they're not going to mention it in that one either. I don't like Ubisoft as a company. Because I don't like bullies or abusers or sexual predators. And I don't like the people who protect them. And it's frustrating because there's not a whole hell of a lot I can do personally, except talk about it, I suppose. You could say, well, you could not buy Ubisoft games, which I generally don't anyway. But the problem with, well, Ubisoft is a scumsickle company, so I'm not going to buy their games harumph. And that is a perfectly okay and valid thing to do. But where the problem is if I were to specifically boycott Ubisoft, I would want to hurt the people who are hurting, the upper management people who are hurting the, the actual developers and stuff who make the game. And boycotting doesn't do that, sadly. On the other side of the coin, buying the game doesn't really help the developers either, because most of them are not like paid a percentage or paid on the back end or anything. They're salaried. So whether you buy the game or not, they might see some of them might see a bonus if the game sells particularly well, or if it hits a particular Metacritic score. That does happen occasionally, but typically you buying games, showing support for the actual developers who do the work, that doesn't actually help them, and withholding your money doesn't actually hurt the people you want it to hurt. Because if the sales are not great, what happens? They just fire a bunch of people to make up for the losses. Hell, even when games sell particularly well, they fire a bunch of people just so they can take in more money. Bobby Kotick over at Activision does that all the damn time. They have a investor meeting and they're like, "Oh, our revenues are higher than we've ever been, and we're firing 800 people." Well, billionaires like Bobby Kotick could, just take a few less millions that year and not fire everybody. Something they could do, but they don't, because sadly, a lot of the folks who run these video game companies and other corporations, but video games are what I'm talking about right now, don't give the slightest shit about video games, just money. And remember that Yves Guillemot and Bobby Kotick and the others, they don't make the video games. They don't really do anything. They just make money. And if they're not making enough money, they fire people until they are. And that sucks. And there's not a ton as individuals that we can do about it, and that's really frustrating. So to be clear, I'm not saying buy Ubisoft games or buy Activision games, or don't buy Ubisoft or don't buy Activision games. Buy the games you think you'll enjoy, as long as you're comfortable doing so. I don't want to end on that note. That's friggin' depressing. Quick, give me a happy topic, chat. I mean, I hate to end on that because that's just depressing. It's like the people in power are crap, and there's little we can do about it. Yeah, kind of blows. Happy. Well, I guess I can talk about. I have a new series of videos coming out. I think they will start this Tuesday. The video game fashion police are returning with a 3-part Gem and the Holograms episode. And you may be wondering, wait a minute, why is the video game fashion police looking at a cartoon? Is Gem and the Holograms a video game? Sadly, no. A couple board games, but as far as I know, not a video game. So, why are the video game fashion police looking at a cartoon? Because we want to. That's the entire reason. Because we want to. So, unless something happens with my renders or something, expect the first episode this Tuesday. That will look at Gem from Gem and the Holograms. The following Tuesday will be Pizzazz from the Misfits, and then the Tuesday following that will be Gem versus Pizzazz in a fashion battle royale. Who has the best fashion? And I could tell you, but I'm not going to. You'll have to watch the videos. So look forward to those. I hope to do those once a week for the next couple of weeks, starting on Tuesday. And tomorrow, for Sunday's game stream, I am going to be playing Horizon Zero Dawn. I felt that since Sony gave us another look at Horizon Zero Dawn 2, what is it called? Frozen Wild? No, wait, that was the expansion, wasn't it? Horizon Future Perfect. I don't remember what it's called. Horizon 2. I figured that since they're starting the marketing machine for Horizon 2, now would be a fine time to finally pull Horizon off the shelf and play it. Because I bought it like 2 years ago for 20 bucks with all the DLC. So looking forward to that. And as Brian pointed out to me a while back, it'll be interesting to compare Horizon to Breath of the Wild. And because Breath of the Wild is a good game, but it's a great game actually, but it's a game that I personally have a lot of niggling issues with. So it'll be interesting to compare it to that game and see if Horizon does some things better in my mind than Breath of the Wild. So I'm really looking forward to playing that tomorrow. So join me, won't you, at noon Pacific Standard Time tomorrow for a little bit of Horizon fun. And until then, have yourselves a lovely evening, and I hope to see you tomorrow. Take care, everyone. Bye-bye.